Well, if you want a good relationship with your neighbor, it helps to talk to them. And that's what's happening in Saskatoon this week as politicians from 11 Midwestern states meet up with their counterparts from Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Illinois Senator Elgie Sims is the chair of the Council of State Governments, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Saskatoon.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
We're happy to have you. Senator Sims, what do you hope, though, to achieve during, these 4 days of talks?
Well, I think it's always important to have the conversations about the issues that concern us. And we've been great partners with our neighbors to the north, your neighbors to the south, and we're going to continue that. The Midwestern Legislative Conference has several of the provinces of Canada are members of the organization, and our strength is our regional organizational structure, and being able to lean into those issues of concern, that bilateral trade, all those issues of common issues, they're important for us. So over these 4 days, I would expect we're going to have some really deep conversations, some really engaging conversations. We're going to learn from each other, and that's really what's important.
I was going to say, obviously, on the top of the minds of Canadians are tariffs. How much will the talks focus on trade and tariffs?
That's a critical part of the discussions. Mm-hmm. As the largest trading partner with Canada, we're sensitive to those issues. As you mentioned, I'm from Illinois, but also states like North Dakota, which is a very huge partner with Saskatchewan. From Indiana and Iowa, we have deep ties to our Canadian partners, and so we'll have a lot of discussions about the impact of the tariffs and the impact of our trading on our trading relationship. But more importantly, we're going to lean into our shared responsibilities and our shared goals. And I think that's I'm really excited about the prospects.
The range of topics is actually quite extensive, though, looking at it. There's everything from immigration and child welfare policy to criminal justice and AI in education. Are you just kind of simply sharing information with each other, or are you finding ways to collaborate on these issues?
Yeah, it's more than just a conversation. When we can, we share policies. A part of the discussion you'll see this weekend or this week will center around shared legislative ideas. So you'll see legislative ideas from the states be introduced in the Canadian provinces, and vice versa. So there will be issues that we may look at for best practices that's happening in Canada, and we pick those up and put those in the legislative action in the states. I think that's, again, it's more than just the conversation. It's taking best practices and putting them into action.
How important is it to have these in-person meetings to build, those personal relationships as well?
Oh, critical. There's only so much you can do via a Zoom call or a video conference. Being able to get in a room with each other, roll up your sleeves, talk about the issues. It's really critical because you can learn from each other. You can, when you see someone's reaction, or you see whether or not someone is interested or not interested. It's critical that we're able to get together, and that's why it's not just the legislative meeting, the annual meeting, but the committees are meeting throughout the year. So the the U.S.-Canada Relations Committee meets throughout the year to talk about these issues. So they're planning, they're working, they're talking about issues of environmental concerns, they're talking about issues of trade, they're talking about issues of education, economic development. So it's not just the annual meeting. The annual meeting is the culmination of the work that's done throughout the year. But it really is it's a critical part of us being able to get together, get in the room, roll up our sleeves, and come out with some really best practices.
Have you attended past meetings of the Midwestern Legislative Conference?
I have. I'm actually a former chair of the Midwestern Legislative Conference, and it seems like just yesterday we were here in 2018 when we celebrated the 73rd annual conference in Manitoba. It was a great experience. That's one of the reasons I was so excited to get back here to Saskatoon because I had such a great time in Manitoba. I know I was going to have an equally great time here in Saskatchewan.
With, though, the tension that's kind of happening between Canada and the U.S. right now, is there a different energy at the meeting this year?
Absolutely not. I think we've leaned into our friendship and our partnership. Despite the challenges, I think we all understand that we're at our core, we're friends, we're partners, we're allies. And so I don't see a difference in the tone. It's more a commitment to our shared responsibilities and our shared goals. And that's really what's exciting about this meeting.
In your mind, what's the most important issue this group of legislators faces right now?
Well, one of the things that I'm concerned about is the legacy that we're leaving to future generations for the institutions that we serve. Polarization has taken over our public discourse, and for me, we have to look internally, but also lean into how we are going to engage in making sure that the institutions are sustainable for the future. And so that's one of the issues I'm looking forward to talking about this week. I'm looking forward to having some more in-depth conversations with my colleagues about because I think that's really important. What the future holds for us. That's really in order for these institutions to continue. They're gonna have to be here, and in order for them to be here, we've got to lean into them and protect them.
Mm-hmm. I just want to get back to trade and tariffs really quick. What's the most we can expect from this meeting?
Well, I think it's going to be the focus on what those shared goals are. As I mentioned, with North Dakota and Saskatchewan, potash, uranium, those are areas that are huge. But across areas, whether it's wheat or corn or soybeans, whatever those products are, we've got to make sure that we're continuing to stay strong and continue to lean into them. So those are some of the topics I think we'll see a great deal of discussions about. Some developments of those best practices, and hopefully I look forward to seeing the discussions we have here end up in legislative policy both in Washington, D.C. and in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm. How would you characterize success, Senator?
Well, I think success is making sure that we understand that we are stronger together. We're partners, and we've been allies for a long time, and I think it will continue to be so. I think that's what success looks like for me. Making sure we continue to lean into and share those ideals.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in and giving us a little bit of insight into the meeting that's happening this week. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.